The alarm bells rang through the Galactic Council station. Council Prime Velthar's antenna twitched with worry as he looked at the screen. Something impossible was happening. A ship just passed through the quarantine barrier, said one of his officers. The room went silent. That's not possible, Velthar said. His insect-like body tensed. Nothing can pass through that barrier. We made sure of it. But the screen showed the truth. A silver ship moved smoothly through space, heading straight toward their station. It looked nothing like the primitive rockets they had seen 500 years ago when they first found Earth. Counselor Brekta, a large reptilian warrior, stood up quickly. His scales turned dark red with anger. This is an attack. We must defend ourselves. Wait, said Velthar. He watched the ship more closely. It wasn't shooting weapons or moving in an attack pattern. It was just approaching calmly, peacefully. Then a message came through. The voice was clear and spoke in perfect Galactic Common, the language used by all council members. Greetings, Galactic Council. This is Ambassador Hyunwoo Park of Earth. We come in peace and request permission to dock. We wish to talk. The council chamber exploded with noise. Every species started shouting at once. Some wanted to shoot the ship down. Others wanted to run away. A few, like Counselor Thexel, looked curious. How do they know our language? Someone asked. How did they break through the barrier? Another shouted. Velthar raised his front legs for silence. Let me remind everyone why we put that barrier there 500 years ago. The main screen changed to show old images of Earth. Cities burning. Weapons firing. Wars everywhere. Humans fighting each other over land, resources, and ideas that seemed meaningless to the Council. We found a species that couldn't stop fighting its own kind. Velthar said. Our scientists said they would destroy themselves within 100 years. We put up the barrier to protect the galaxy from them, and to protect them from us until they grew up or died out. Clearly they didn't die out, Brekta growled. The human ship was now close enough to see clearly. It was beautiful in a way that made no sense. Smooth lines. No visible weapons. It seemed to glow with its own light. Captain Nari Choi sat in the command chair of the human ship. She watched the alien station grow larger on her screens. Her crew was nervous but ready. Ambassador Park, she said through her communication device. They haven't given us permission to dock yet. Should we hold position? Hyunwoo Park's voice came back calm and steady. Yes, Captain, we wait. We've waited 500 years. A few more hours won't hurt. Back on the council station, Velthar made his decision. Allow them to dock. But put our defense systems on high alert, and send security teams to the docking bay. You're letting them in? Brekta couldn't believe it. If they wanted to attack us, they would have done it already, Velthar said. That ship passed through technology we thought was impossible to break. If they have hostile plans, a few security guards won't stop them. Better to talk and learn what we're dealing with. The human ship docked smoothly. Too smoothly. The Council's best pilots needed 3 attempts to dock properly. This ship did it perfectly on the first try. The airlock doors opened. Hyunwoo Park stepped out and the galaxy changed forever. He was tall for a human, wearing simple gray clothes that looked more like art than uniform. His dark hair was neat and his eyes showed no fear. Behind him stood 2 other humans, also calm and peaceful. 50 armed guards pointed weapons at them. Hyunwoo didn't flinch. He simply smiled and bowed, a gesture of respect from his culture. Thank you for seeing us, he said. Then he did something that shocked everyone. He started speaking in different languages, greeting each council species in their own tongue. 47 different languages, each one perfect, each one showing respect for their customs. How? Velthar couldn't finish his question. We've been listening, Hyunwoo said, switching back to Galactic Common. For 200 years we've been listening to your transmissions, learning, growing, waiting for the right time to introduce ourselves properly. 200 years? Thexel leaned forward, his amphibious skin changing colors with excitement. You knew about us for 200 years and said nothing? Would you have listened if we had called earlier? Hyunwoo asked. You built a wall around our home and called us dangerous. We decided to prove you wrong before we knocked on your door. Brekta's claws extended. You could be lying. This could all be a trick. It could be, Hyunwoo agreed. That's why we're here. To show you the truth. To show you what humanity became when we learned we weren't alone in the universe. He looked at each council member. You thought isolation would contain us. Instead, it united us. You gave us a challenge. We accepted it. Velthar felt something he hadn't felt in centuries. Uncertainty, and behind it something else. Hope? Fear? Maybe both. Come, he said finally. We will hear what you have to say. But know this, human. The galaxy is watching. One wrong move and we will protect ourselves. Yenwu nodded. We wouldn't expect anything less. And Council Prime? We're counting on you to watch closely, because what you're about to learn will change everything you think you know about humanity. The doors to the council chamber opened, and Hyunwoo Park walked forward into history. The council chamber was built to impress visitors. High ceilings, walls made of crystal from 1,000 worlds, seats arranged in a circle so all species were equal. Right now, those seats held the most powerful beings in the galaxy, and they all stared at one human. Hyunwoo Park stood in the center of the chamber. Behind him, a hologram projector waited. He had asked for permission to show them something. Velthar had agreed, though many council members protested. 500 years ago you found us, Hyunwoo began. Your probe watched us for 3 months. It saw wars, pollution, humans hurting other humans. Your report said we were too dangerous to contact, that we would either destroy ourselves or become a threat to the galaxy. Brekta nodded. The report was correct. We've seen species like yours before. They never survive. You were right to be worried, Hyunwoo said, surprising everyone. We were dangerous. We were hurting our own world and each other. But you made one mistake in your report. What mistake? Velthar asked. You assumed we couldn't change? Hyunwoo activated the hologram. Images of Earth filled the chamber. But these weren't images of war. They showed something different. Dr. Somin Lee stepped forward. She was smaller than Hyunwoo, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. She was humanity's best historian, and had spent her life studying this moment. 183 years ago, we found your barrier, Somin said. A probe from our colony on Mars detected the energy field around our solar system. At first, we thought it was natural. Then we decoded the warning messages. The hologram showed humans reading the Council's warnings. Messages that said, dangerous species. Do not approach. Quarantine in effect. How did you decode our language? Dexel asked. He sounded more interested than afraid now. Mathematics, Somin answered. Language might be different, but math is universal. Your warning beacons used mathematical patterns. We solved them like puzzles. It took us 40 years, but we did it. The hologram changed again. It showed Earth transforming. Green spaces replacing cities. Clean oceans. The planet healing. When we learned we weren't alone, everything changed, Somin continued. We stopped fighting about borders and resources. We realized how small those problems were. We had a bigger question to answer. How do we prove to the galaxy that we deserve a place among the stars? So you built weapons, Brekta said. Advanced ships to break through our barrier. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. We built peace, look. The hologram showed the last war on Earth. It had ended 170 years ago. After that, no more wars, no more armies fighting each other. Humans had finally united. We created the United Earth Council, Somin explained. Every nation sent representatives. We shared technology, resources, knowledge. We ended hunger. We cleaned our world. We reached for the stars together. Why? Velthar asked. What changed? You did, Hyunwoo said simply. Knowing you were out there watching us, judging us. It gave us purpose. We didn't want to prove you wrong out of anger. We wanted to prove ourselves worthy. Worthy of meeting you. Worthy of joining the galactic community. The hologram showed human achievements. Fusion power plants that produced no waste. Cities that worked with nature instead of destroying it. Ships that could travel faster than light without harming space itself. We spent 200 years preparing for this moment, Somin said. We studied every signal that leaked through your barrier. We learned your languages, your cultures, your history. We wanted to understand you before we met you. This is impossible, said a council member from a bird-like species. No species develops this fast. It takes thousands of years. It takes thousands of years when you're comfortable, Hyunwoo said. We weren't comfortable. We were locked in our own solar system with a sign that said we weren't good enough. That motivated us. Captain Nari Choi's voice came through Hyunwoo's communication device. Ambassador, they're scanning our ship again. Should I be worried? No, Captain, Hyunwoo said calmly. Let them scan all they want. We have nothing to hide. Velthar had indeed ordered another scan. The results confused his scientists. The human ship used technology that shouldn't exist. Power sources more efficient than anything in the galaxy. Engines that bent space without creating dangerous radiation. Shields that adapted to any attack. Your technology is beyond ours, Velthar admitted. How? Necessity, Soman answered. We were trapped. We couldn't leave our solar system. So we used that time. We built better engines to explore our own planets. We created advanced computers to help us solve problems. We developed medicine that could heal almost any disease. We had nowhere to go but forward. And you did all this while watching us? Texel asked. Learning from us? Yes, Hyunwoo said. But we didn't just copy. We improved. We took your ideas and made them better. Not because we're smarter than you, but because we had to be. You had the whole galaxy. We had 8 planets and nowhere else to go. The hologram showed human children learning in schools, scientists working together from every nation, artists creating beauty, philosophers thinking about humanity's place in the universe. We didn't just advance our technology, Soman said softly. We advanced ourselves. We learned to work together, to value all life, to protect our world instead of destroying it. We became what you hoped we could be. Brekta stood up angry. Words and images prove nothing. You could have faked all of this. You're right, Hyunwoo said. We could have. That's why we're not asking you to believe us based on what we show you. We're asking you to test us. Give us any challenge. Ask us any question. Inspect our ship, our technology, our people. We'll prove everything we've said. And if we refuse? Brekta challenged. If we order you to return to your quarantine zone? Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was sad. Then we'll leave. We won't force ourselves on you. But know this. We didn't break through your barrier today because we finally became strong enough. We've been able to break through for 50 years. We waited because we wanted to do this right. We wanted to meet you as equals, as friends, not as invaders. The chamber was silent. Every council member was thinking about what this meant. If humans could have broken through 50 years ago and chose not to, what did that say about them? Velthar made a decision. You will stay. You will answer our questions. You will prove your claims. And if you pass our tests, then perhaps... He paused. Perhaps we made a mistake 500 years ago. Hyunwoo bowed again. Thank you, Council Prime, that's all we ask. A chance to show you who we really are. Texel spoke up. I have a question, Ambassador Park. Please, Hyunwoo said, why now? If you could break through 50 years ago, why wait until today? Hyunwoo smiled. Because 50 years ago, we were ready technologically, but we weren't ready here. He pointed to his heart. We needed to make sure we were meeting you for the right reasons. Not out of pride or anger or the need to prove something. We waited until we could come to you with open hands and honest hearts. And you believe that time is now? Velthar asked. Yes, Hyunwoo said. We're ready. The question is, are you ready for us? Councillor Brekta had heard enough words. He wanted action. He wanted proof. And secretly, he wanted to see the humans fail. Ambassador Park, Brekta said, his voice echoing through the chamber. You claim your technology is advanced. You say your intentions are peaceful. But words mean nothing. I demand a demonstration. Hyunwoo nodded calmly. What would you like to see? Your ship, Brekta said. Show us what it can really do. And if it's as powerful as you claim, I want to know why we shouldn't fear it. Fair enough, Hyunwoo said. He touched his communication device. Captain Choi, Council Member Brekta has requested a demonstration of our capabilities. Are you comfortable with that? On the bridge of the Horizon's Promise, Captain Nari Choi smiled. She had been expecting this. Ready when you are, Ambassador. What do they want to see? Everything, Hyunwoo said. Nari's crew was small. Only 15 humans ran the entire ship. Commander Taeyang Kim sat at the pilot station, his hands moving across controls that looked more like musical instruments than ship systems. Engineer Jin Woo-han monitored the engines, making sure everything was perfect. All council ships, please clear the demonstration area, Nari announced. Her voice was professional but friendly. We don't want anyone getting hurt. The council had dozens of ships around their station. Military vessels, cargo ships, diplomatic cruisers. They all moved to a safe distance. Some moved faster than others, their pilots nervous about what was coming. What will you show us first? Velthar asked. Speed, Nari said simply. The Horizon's Promise was hovering peacefully one moment. The next moment, it was gone. Not moving fast. Actually gone. It disappeared and reappeared on the other side of the station instantly. Impossible, gasped a council scientist. That's not faster than light travel. That's teleportation. Not quite, Engineer Jin Wuhan explained over the open channel. We fold space around the ship. We don't move through space. We move space around us. Much faster and much safer. The ship demonstrated again. It appeared in 5 different locations in 3 seconds. Each jump was perfect with no delay. No energy burst that could harm nearby ships. Our fastest ships take 10 seconds to charge their jump drives, said a council military officer, and they can only jump once every 5 minutes. How are you doing this? Better power systems, Jinwoo said. Our reactors produce 100 times more energy in half the space. And we don't waste any of it, Commander Taeyang spoke up. Ready for the next demonstration, Captain? Proceed, Nari said. This time, the council members watched as the Horizon's Promise flew through obstacle courses that would challenge any pilot. Taeyang made the ship dance. It spun, rolled, and moved in ways that seemed impossible for something so large. And it did all this while moving faster than any council ship could match. Who's flying that ship? Brekta demanded. What kind of being has those reflexes? Just me, Taeyang said. His voice was cheerful. Human reflexes, human brain. But I'm connected to the ship's computer. We work together. The ship handles the calculations. I handle the creativity. Human creativity combined with computer precision, Thexel said quietly. Fascinating. Now for the defensive systems, Nari announced. This was what worried the council most. Weapons. Every species in the galaxy had weapons. The question was, what kind of weapons did humans have? Please launch a standard attack drone, Nari requested. Program it to attack us with non-lethal force. Brekta smiled. Finally, he could test these humans properly. He ordered his best military drone launched. It was fast, smart, and carried weapons that could disable any ship in the council fleet. The drone activated and rushed toward the human ship. It fired electromagnetic pulses, plasma bursts, and missiles. Everything hit the human ship directly. Nothing happened. The Horizon's Promise just floated there, completely undamaged. Its shields glowed softly, a beautiful blue color, and every attack simply faded away. Adaptive shielding, Jinwoo explained. Our shields analyze incoming attacks and adjust instantly. Electromagnetic weapons? We ground them. Plasma? We disperse it. Missiles? We redirect their guidance systems. This is a defensive demonstration, Nari reminded everyone. We won't fire back. We don't need to. Brekta was furious now. Computer. Increase attack power to 70%. Authorization Brekta 79. Counselor, that could destroy most ships, Velthar warned. Let's see if it destroys theirs, Brekta growled. The drone's weapons powered up. It unleashed an attack that would crack a warship's hull. The human ship didn't even shake. Shield power at 92%, Jinwoo reported calmly. No damage. No stress on the systems. But then something unexpected happened. Brekta had programmed a secret command into the drone. A surprise test. Without warning, the drone fired its most powerful weapon directly at the council station itself. Gasps filled the council chamber. The station's shields were down for the demonstration. The attack would kill thousands. Taeyang moved faster than thought. The Horizon's Promise appeared between the drone and the station. The attack hit the human ship instead. And then, before anyone could speak, Taeyang did something incredible. A beam of soft light shot from the human ship to the drone. In less than a second, the drone just stopped. It didn't explode. It didn't crash. It just floated there. All its systems shut down safely. Threat neutralized, Taeyang reported. No damage to the drone. No damage to anyone. Commander Brekta, we've sent the drone back to your hangar bay. You might want to check your authorization codes. That was dangerous. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some members were angry at Brekta for the dangerous test. Others were shocked at how quickly the humans had responded. A few were terrified of what they had just seen. Brekta stood frozen. The humans had saved the station, saved thousands of lives, including his own, and they had done it without destroying his drone or embarrassing him publicly. Velthar's voice cut through the noise. Silence! He turned to the hologram showing Captain Nari. You disabled a military drone in 0.3 seconds. You could have destroyed it. Why didn't you? Why would we? Nari asked, sounding genuinely confused. The drone was following orders. It's not the drone's fault, and destroying it wouldn't have made anyone safer. Disabling it made everyone safer. You saved our station, Thexel said quietly. Of course we did, Nari replied. That's what you do for neighbors. For potential friends. You protect them. Hyunwoo spoke up from the council chamber. You asked for a demonstration of our capabilities, Counselor Brekta. Now you've seen them. We can move faster than your ships. Our shields are stronger. Our systems are more advanced. But the most important thing we showed you today wasn't our technology. What was it? Velthar asked. Our choice, Hyunwoo said. We had every right to destroy that drone. It attacked us and then attacked your station. But we chose to protect instead of punish. We chose to save instead of destroy. That's what we've been trying to tell you. We have power. We choose not to use it for harm. Engineer Jinwoo added something that made the council think. Every weapon on our ship can be turned into a tool. Every defensive system can become a rescue system. We built everything with two purposes. Peace first, protection second. How many ships like this do you have? Brekta asked quietly. 47 waiting at the barrier, Hyunwoo answered honestly. All exploration vessels. All with similar capabilities. All with crews who want the same thing we do. To explore, to learn, to make friends, Nari spoke one more time. The Galactic Council has been exploring space for thousands of years. You've seen so much. We've seen only our own solar system. Imagine what we could see together. What we could learn from each other. That's worth more than any weapon, any war. Any fear, Velthar looked at Brekta. The military commander looked defeated. He had tried to prove humans were dangerous and instead, they had proven they were something else entirely. Return to dock, Captain Choi, Velthar said. Ambassador Park, we need to talk more. Much more. Of course, Council Prime, Hyunwoo said. We have time. We've waited 500 years. We can wait a bit longer. But in his mind, Hyunwoo knew the truth. After today, the galaxy would never be the same. The question wasn't whether humans would join the Council. The question was whether the Council was ready for what humans would bring to it. Late in the station's night cycle, when most Council members had returned to their quarters, Counselor Thexil waited in a private meeting room. His skin changed colors slowly, a sign of nervousness in his species. He had asked Ambassador Hyunwoo Park for a secret meeting. Now he wondered if he was making a terrible mistake. The door opened quietly. Hyunwoo entered alone as requested. He looked tired but alert. Counselor Thexil, Hyunwoo said, bowing slightly. Thank you for meeting with me privately. Your message said it was urgent. Thexil's skin flashed dark blue. Fear. Ambassador, what I'm about to tell you could get me removed from the Council. But after watching your demonstration today, after seeing your people choose to save rather than destroy, I have to take this chance. I'm listening, Hyunwoo said, sitting down across from the counselor. The Galactic Council is dying, Thexil said quietly. Hyunwoo's expression didn't change, but his eyes sharpened. Explain. Thexil activated a small hologram projector. Images appeared showing different alien species. They all looked sick. Their eyes were empty. Some were frozen in place, unable to move. We call it the silence, Thexil said. It started 80 years ago on a mining colony. Workers began losing their ability to think. They could still breathe, still eat, but their minds just stopped. They couldn't talk, couldn't remember, couldn't understand anything. How many species does it affect? Hyunwoo asked. 17 so far, Thexil replied, including mine. My sister died from it 3 years ago. I watched her fade away over 6 months. First, she forgot how to speak, then how to walk. Finally, she forgot how to live. Hyunwoo's face showed pain. Real, genuine pain. I'm so sorry. We've tried everything, Thexil continued. Our best scientists. Our most advanced medicine. Nothing works. Nothing even slows it down. Millions die every year. Entire colonies have been abandoned because everyone there caught the silence. Why are you telling me this? Hyunwoo asked gently. Why not ask for help publicly? Thexil's skin turned red. Shame. Pride. Fear. The Council is supposed to be advanced, powerful. How can we admit to the galaxy that we can't solve our own problems? And worse, how can we ask for help from the species we locked away as dangerous? So you've been dying quietly rather than risk looking weak, Hyunwoo said. It wasn't a question. Yes, Thexil admitted. But after today I realized something. You didn't have to save our station. You could have let Brekta's test drone damage us. Could have used it as an excuse to leave or even attack. But you saved us without hesitation. If you can do that for strangers who have treated you badly, maybe you can help us with this. Hyunwoo stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at the stars for a long moment. Counselor, I need to bring someone else into this conversation. Our chief medical officer. Will you allow that? Thexel hesitated, then nodded. If you think it's necessary. I do, Hyunwoo said, touching his communication device. Dr. Yunabei, please come to conference room 7. Urgent medical consultation. 10 minutes later, Dr. Yunabei arrived. She was young for a chief medical officer, but her eyes showed the kind of wisdom that came from saving many lives. She listened quietly as Thexel explained the silence again, showing her all the medical data the council had gathered over 80 years. Yuna studied the information carefully. Her face grew more serious with each image. Finally, she spoke. Has anyone tested for quantum-level pathogens? She asked. Thexel looked confused. Quantum level? I don't understand. Diseases that don't exist in normal space, Yuna explained. Infections that attack at the quantum level, affecting the electromagnetic patterns that create thought and consciousness. That's impossible, Thexel said. Matter is matter. Disease is disease, that's what we thought too, Yuna said. 150 years ago, humans started experimenting with quantum computers, machines that think using quantum mechanics. Some of our scientists got sick with something similar to what you're describing. They called it quantum fade. Hyunwoo nodded. I remember learning about it in school. It almost destroyed our early quantum research program. We lost 3,000 people before we figured out what was happening, Yuna said sadly. The quantum computers were creating a field that normal medical equipment couldn't detect. It was breaking down the neural patterns in human brains, making them forget how to think. How did you stop it? Thexel asked urgently. We developed nanomedicine that could operate at the quantum level, Yuna explained. Tiny machines that enter the body and repair the quantum damage directly. We also learned how to shield ourselves from quantum fields. Thexel's skin flashed through many colors rapidly. Hope, fear, doubt, excitement. You're saying you've dealt with this before? You know how to cure it? If it's the same thing, yes, Yuna said carefully. But I'd need to examine a patient, run tests, confirm it's actually a quantum pathogen and not something else. How long would that take? Thexel asked. With your cooperation, maybe 48 hours to confirm. Another day to prepare the treatment if I'm right. Thexel couldn't believe what he was hearing. 80 years. Our best scientists worked for 80 years and found nothing. You're telling me you can solve it in 3 days? Maybe, Yuna said. Science builds on science, counselor. You taught us about space travel by putting up that barrier. We learned from you, built on your ideas, made them better because we had to. Now maybe we can give something back. I need to talk to Council Prime Velthar, Thexel said, standing up quickly. Wait, Hyunwoo said. Consider carefully. If you bring this to the full council, politics will slow everything down. Some members will refuse human help out of pride. Others will demand endless tests and approvals. People will die while committees argue. What are you suggesting? Thexel asked. Let Dr. Yuna examine one patient quietly, Hyunwoo said. Just one. If she's right and can help, then you bring it to the council with proof. If she's wrong, no one needs to know we tried. Thexel understood what Hyunwoo was really saying. If this failed, the humans would take the blame privately. If it succeeded, Thexel could present it as a victory to the council. They were offering him a way to help his people without risking his position. Why would you do this? Thexel asked. Why risk your reputation for us? Because people are dying, Yuna said simply. I became a doctor to save lives. I don't care about politics or reputation. I care about stopping suffering, Hyunwoo added. And because this is what we came here to do, counselor. Not to show off our ships or prove how advanced we are. We came to be part of the galactic community. And in a community, you help each other. Thexel made his decision. I know someone, a governor from my homeworld. She volunteered for experimental treatments. She has nothing to lose. I can bring her here quietly. Do it, Hyunwoo said. And counselor, thank you for trusting us. I know how hard this is. After Thexel left, Yuna turned to Hyunwoo. I hope I'm right about this. So do I, Hyunwoo said. But even if you're not, at least we tried. That's more than the council has been willing to do. I'll need equipment from our ship, Yuna said, already planning. And I'll need to work fast. If this really is a quantum pathogen, it's probably mutated over 80 years. Could be more complex than what we dealt with. Whatever you need, Doctor, Hyunwoo said. This could change everything. Not just for the Council, but for how they see us. No pressure then, Yuna said with a small smile. You've got this, Hyunwoo assured her. You're the best at what you do. Yuna nodded and headed for the door. Then she paused and looked back. Ambassador? What if I succeed? What if I cure the silence? Then the Council will have to admit they need us, Hyunwoo said. And maybe, just maybe, they'll finally be ready to accept us as equals. And if other species hear that humans cured a disease the Council couldn't? Yuna asked. Hyunwoo smiled. Then the galaxy will know that being dangerous isn't about weapons or ships. Being dangerous is about being so good at saving lives that no one can deny you matter. Governor Hana Im arrived at the Council station in secret. She was old by her species standards, with gray skin that had once been bright green. Her eyes, once sharp and full of life, now looked distant, empty. The silence was taking her piece by piece. Dr. Yuna Bei met her in a private medical room on the human ship. Medical Officer Daeho Shin assisted, setting up equipment that looked nothing like the Council's medical devices. These machines hummed with a strange energy that made the air feel different. Governor Im, Yuna said gently, speaking through a translator device. Can you understand me? Hana's mouth moved slowly. Words came out, but they made no sense. Her brain knew what she wanted to say, but the connection between thought and speech was breaking down. It's okay, Yuna said softly. You don't need to speak. Just let me help. Daeho activated the first scanner. It looked like a simple ring of light. But what it did was far from simple. The light passed through Hana's body, reading things that regular medical scanners couldn't see. The quantum patterns of her brain, the electromagnetic signatures of her thoughts, the very fabric of her consciousness. There, Daeho said, pointing to the screen. See that disruption in the quantum field? Yuna studied the readings carefully. It's exactly like quantum fade, but worse. This has been evolving for 8 decades. It's learned how to hide from conventional medicine. Can you fix it? Thexel asked. He had stayed to watch, his skin changing colors constantly with worry. Give me 24 hours, Yuna said. She turned to her equipment and began working. For the next day, Yuna and Daeho barely slept. They programmed nanobots smaller than blood cells. These tiny machines were designed to enter the quantum field where the silence lived. They would find the infection and repair the damage one quantum particle at a time. The tricky part, Daeho explained to Thexel during a break, is that we're not fighting a regular disease. This thing exists partially outside normal space. It's like trying to cure someone of a disease that only exists on Tuesdays. I don't understand, Thexel said. Neither did we at first, Daeho admitted. But humans got good at thinking in strange ways. When you're locked in one solar system for centuries, you start experimenting with everything. Quantum mechanics was one of our puzzles. We played with it, broke it, fixed it, made it do impossible things. Finally, the treatment was ready. The nanobots floated in a clear liquid that glowed faintly blue. Yuna filled a small injector and turned to Governor Hana. This might not work, Yuna warned Thexel. This is experimental, based on old human treatments applied to an alien disease. The governor could get worse. Or she could die, Hana said suddenly. Her words were clear for the first time in months. Everyone stared at her. I heard some, not all words. But some do it. Rather die trying, than die slowly silent. Yuna nodded with respect. You're very brave, Governor. The injection took seconds. The nanobots entered Hana's bloodstream and began their work. For an hour, nothing seemed to happen. Hana sat quietly, her empty eyes staring at nothing. Then, slowly, something changed. Her eyes focused. She looked at her hands. She moved her fingers deliberately, watching them as if seeing them for the first time. I remember, Hana said. Her voice was stronger now. My name, my world, my daughter's face. I couldn't remember her face yesterday. Now I can see it clear, perfect. Thexel's skin flashed every color at once. It's working? The nanobots are repairing the quantum damage, Daeho said, watching his monitors. Restoring her neural patterns. She's reconnecting to herself. Over the next 48 hours, Hana Im improved rapidly. Her speech became clear. Her memories returned. Her mind, which had been fading into nothing, blazed back to life. By the 3rd day, she was sitting up talking normally, even laughing at jokes. How do you feel? Yuna asked. Like I've been asleep for years and just woke up, Hana said. No, not asleep, gone, and now I'm back. Dr. Bei, you gave me my life back. Thexel could no longer keep this quiet. With Hana's permission, he called an emergency council session. Every member came, curious about why the human doctor was standing beside Thexil. 80 years ago, the silence began. Thexil announced. We've lost millions to it. We've tried everything to stop it. We failed. He paused, his skin showing colors of both shame and hope. 3 days ago, I told Ambassador Park about our crisis. Today, I present you with Governor Hana Im. She had the silence. Stage 3, terminal. Dr. Yunabei cured her completely. The council chamber exploded with noise. Some members shouted in disbelief. Others demanded proof. A few sat in stunned silence. Hana Im walked forward, strong and clear-minded. She spoke to the council, answering their questions, proving beyond doubt that she was fully healed. How? Felthar demanded, turning to Yuna. Yuna explained quantum pathogens simply. She showed them the nanobots. She shared all her data freely, holding nothing back. We dealt with something similar 150 years ago, Yuna said. We learned from it. Now we can help you. Why? Asked Counselor Brekta. Why help us? What do you want in return? Nothing, Yuna said. We help because people are dying. Because we can. Because it's the right thing to do. Impossible, Brekta said. Everyone wants something. Humans do want something, Yunwu said, stepping forward. We want to be part of your community. We want to explore the galaxy with you. We want to learn from you and share what we know. But we don't trade lives for that. Saving people isn't a bargaining chip. It's just what decent beings do. The council sat in silence. They were used to deals, trades, politics. The concept of helping without demanding payment was strange to them. Within hours, news of Hana's cure spread throughout the galaxy. Worlds affected by the silence sent desperate messages to the council station. Representatives from 17 different species begged for the human treatment. Yuna didn't hesitate. We'll need more ships, more medical staff, more equipment. How many can you treat? Felthar asked. All of them, Yuna said simply. However many need help. We'll treat them all. That could be millions, Felthar said. Then we'll treat millions, Deho added. We have 15 hospital ships waiting at the barrier. They're ready to deploy. Why did you bring hospital ships? Thexil asked. Because we hoped you'd need help with something, Hyunwoo explained. We didn't know it would be a plague. But we knew that in a galaxy of trillions, someone somewhere was suffering. We came prepared to help. Over the next weeks, human medical teams spread across the galaxy. They moved from world to world treating the silence. They asked for nothing. No payment. No political favors. No territory. Just cooperation and permission to help. The results were undeniable. Millions who had been fading into the silence came back to life. Families reunited. Colonies reopened. Hope returned to places that had been dying, and everywhere they went, humans said the same thing. We're glad we could help. That's what neighbors do. Some council members remained suspicious. This is a trick, they insisted. They're making us dependent on them. But others saw the truth. Thexil spoke for them in a council session. They're not making us dependent. They're showing us what we could be if we stop being afraid of each other. Look at what we've accomplished in the past. Now imagine what we could accomplish together. Felthar watched all this happening. He saw his people being saved by the species he had once locked away as dangerous. The irony wasn't lost on him. Ambassador Park, Felthar said in a private meeting, your people have saved millions of lives. You've asked for nothing in return. Why? Because 150 years ago, humans were dying from quantum fade. Hyunwoo said. We had no one to help us. We had to figure it out alone. It was hard, painful. We lost thousands before we found the cure. If we can save you from that pain, why wouldn't we? Most species would use this as leverage, Velthar said. We're not most species, Hyunwoo replied. You locked us away because you thought we were dangerous. You were right, but not in the way you thought. We're dangerous to suffering, to death, to the idea that beings should face problems alone. That's the threat we pose to your galaxy. Belthar's mandibles clicked in what might have been a laugh. You know what frightens me most about your species, Ambassador? What? That you mean every word you say? You truly believe in helping for the sake of helping. In my thousands of years, I've never encountered a species like that. It's unsettling. Get used to it, Hyunwoo said with a smile. We're here to stay, and we're going to keep helping whether you like it or not. For the first time since humans arrived, Velthar felt something unexpected. Not fear, not suspicion. Something warmer. Something that felt almost like hope. Not everyone celebrated humanity's arrival. While millions praised the humans for curing the silence, others grew more afraid. And fear has always found a voice. Counselor Brekta sat in a dark room with representatives from 12 other species. They called themselves the Preservation Coalition. Their goal was simple: get the humans back behind the quarantine barrier before it was too late. They saved lives, said Counselor Mira, a mammalian species with sharp teeth. How do we argue against that? That's exactly the problem, Brekta said. They're making themselves indispensable. First they show us their superior technology, then they cure our plague. What's next? What happens when the entire galaxy depends on them? When we can't survive without them? You think they're planning to control us? Asked another representative. I think they're smart enough to know they don't need weapons to conquer, Brekta replied. Make yourself necessary, and you own people without firing a single shot. The coalition spent weeks building their case. They gathered data showing how quickly humans had spread through council space. They pointed out that human ships were now docked at stations across the galaxy. They highlighted how many species now owed humans their lives. They're infiltrating us, Brekta told anyone who would listen. Slowly, peacefully, but infiltrating nonetheless. Finally, Brekta called for a formal council session. The chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of worlds. Media broadcasts were sent to trillions of viewers across the galaxy. We must address the human situation, Brekta announced. Ambassador Park, please step forward. Hyunwoo walked calmly to the center of the chamber. He had known this was coming. Captain Nari Choi watched from her ship, ready to act if needed. Ambassador Park, Brekta began, your people have been in our space for 2 months. In that time, you've demonstrated military capabilities beyond our own. You've cured a plague we couldn't cure. You've deployed ships across dozens of systems. Your influence grows daily. We've helped people, Hyunwoo said simply. Yes, and that's precisely what concerns us, Brekta continued. You arrived claiming peaceful intentions, but now you're everywhere. Your technology is superior. Your medicine is better. Your ships are faster. You've made yourselves necessary to our survival. Some might call that conquest by another name. Murmurs ran through the chamber. Some agreed with Brekta. Others looked uncomfortable. What are you proposing, Counselor? Velthar asked. That humanity return to their quarantine zone, Brekta said. We thank them for their help with the silence. But for our own security, they must leave council space immediately. You want us to leave? Hyunwoo asked. Yes, Brekta said. Before you become too powerful to remove. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was sad but understanding. If the council votes for us to leave, we'll leave. We won't force ourselves on anyone. This surprised Brekta. Just like that? You'll go? Just like that, Hyunwoo confirmed. We came here for friendship, not conquest. If you don't want us here, we won't stay. Before Brekta could respond, Admiral Sunwoo Cha's voice came through the communication system. Ambassador, this is Admiral Cha. Our defense fleet has entered council space. We heard about the session and thought we should show ourselves properly. On every screen in the chamber, new images appeared. 50 human ships had arrived. Not the small, elegant vessels like the Horizons promise. These were different, larger, more impressive. Clearly military in design, the council members gasped. Some stood up in alarm. Brekta smiled, thinking his point had just been proven. You see? Brekta shouted. They threaten us. They show their military might to intimidate us. But then something unexpected happened. Admiral Sunwoo spoke again. Council members, I'm transmitting something to your systems now. Please look carefully. Data flooded into the council's computers. Complete specifications of every human military ship. Weapon systems. Shield capabilities. Engine designs. Battle strategies. Everything. What is this? Filthar asked, confused. Complete transparency, Sunwoo said. You're afraid of what we can do. So we're showing you everything. No secrets. No hidden weapons. You now know exactly what humanity is capable of militarily. Why would you do this? Thexel asked. Because trust requires openness, Sunwoo explained. You're afraid we're planning to attack you. Now you can see we're not. Look at our battle plans. They're all defensive. Every scenario we've planned for is about protecting, not attacking. Captain Nari added her voice. Our weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. Our tactics focus on ending conflicts quickly with minimal casualties. We don't have invasion plans because we don't invade. It's not how we work. Brekta studied the data, looking for something to support his argument. He found nothing. Every weapon system, every tactic, every strategy was defensive. The humans had no plans for conquest. This could be a lie, Brekta said, but his voice lacked confidence now. False data to make us trust you. Then test it, Hyunwoo said. Fire on our ships. See what happens. That's suicide, someone said. Is it? Hyunwoo asked. You have our complete military specifications. You know our capabilities. If you truly believe we're a threat, test us. See if we respond with violence or with defense. No one moved. No one wanted to attack the humans. Because deep down, they were starting to realize that humans weren't the danger Brekta claimed they were. Then something happened that changed everything. One of Brekta's coalition ships, a vessel from a species that had always been aggressive, fired on the Horizon's promise without authorization. Captain Nari reacted instantly. Her ship's shields absorbed the attack easily, but instead of returning fire, she did something else entirely. Coalition vessel, your life support systems are failing, Nari said calmly. You have approximately 4 minutes before your crew suffocates. Please allow us to assist. On the attacking ship, alarms blared. The crew realized their systems were actually failing. A malfunction at the worst possible time. Why would we help you? The attacking ship's captain snarled. You want us dead anyway. We don't want anyone dead, Nari said. She maneuvered the Horizon's promise close to the damaged vessel. I'm extending an emergency docking tube. Send your crew through. We'll fix your ship while we keep your people safe. The attacking crew had a choice. Trust the humans they had just fired upon, or die. They chose to live. One by one, the crew members entered the human ship. Medical Officer Daeho met them with oxygen masks and medical kits. Engineers Jinwoo and others worked on repairing the attacking ship's life support. The galaxy watched this happen in real time. A species that had just been attacked, saving their attackers. While the rescue happened, Hyunwoo spoke to the council. Counselor Brekta asked what happens when the galaxy depends on us. Here's your answer. Nothing changes. We help because we can. We save because it's right. We don't keep score. We don't demand payment. We don't hold grudges. The rescued crew was brought back to their ship once repairs were complete. Their captain, ashamed and confused, spoke to Nari directly. Why? He asked simply. Because you're alive and wanted to stay that way, Nari replied. That's enough reason for us. The captain and his crew returned to their vessel. Then they did something unexpected. They sent a message to the entire council. We attacked the humans without cause. Our systems failed and we were about to die. The humans saved us, all of us. They fixed our ship. They asked for nothing. Counselor Brekta told us humans were dangerous. He was right. But not in the way he meant. They're dangerous to hate, to fear, to war, because they respond to all of it with kindness. How do you fight that? One by one, the species in Brekta's coalition withdrew. They had seen enough. The humans had proven themselves not through words or demonstrations, but through consistent, repeated acts of compassion. Brekta stood alone in the council chamber. His coalition had collapsed. His arguments had been defeated not by debate, but by simple, undeniable action. I still don't trust you, Brekta said to Hyunwoo. That's okay, Hyunwoo replied gently. Trust takes time. We have time. We're not going anywhere unless you formally vote us out. And even if you do, we'll still help if you need it. Because that's what we do. Velthar stood up. The session is postponed. We need time to think about all of this. As the council members left, Thexel approached Hyunwoo. You knew Brekta would oppose you. Of course, Hyunwoo said. Fear is natural. We expected it. And you were ready with that fleet data? With the perfect response? Hyunwoo smiled. We were ready to share everything from day one. We just needed someone to ask. Brekta gave us the excuse to show complete transparency. Now no one can claim we're hiding anything. You planned this, Thexel realized. We planned for every possibility, Hyunwoo admitted. But Thexel, understand this. We didn't manipulate anyone. We just prepared to respond with honesty and help. That's not manipulation. That's just being ready to do the right thing when the opportunity comes. Admiral Sunwoo's voice came through again. Ambassador, shall we leave council space? We've made our point. No, Velthar said, surprising everyone. The council prime had been listening. Stay, Admiral. Your presence is reassuring. I'm beginning to understand that human military might is the most peaceful kind there is. Because we never want to use it, Sunwoo said. A weapon you never need to fire is the best weapon of all. Brekta left the chamber defeated, but as he walked away he heard something that made him pause. 6 months had passed since humanity emerged from the quarantine zone. The Galactic Council chamber was full again, but this time the atmosphere was different. There was excitement in the air, hope, something that had been missing for a long time. Council Prime Velthar stood at the center. We are here today to vote on a historic matter. The question is simple: should humanity be granted full membership in the Galactic Council? Thousands of voices erupted at once. Some cheered. Some protested. Most simply waited to see what would happen. Ambassador Park, Velthar said, please step forward. Hyunwoo walked to the center of the chamber. Behind him stood his crew and colleagues. Captain Nari, Dr. Yuna, Dr. Soman, Engineer Jinwoo, Medical Officer Daeho, Admiral Sunwoo, and Commander Taeyang. They had all been part of this journey. The Council has reviewed your actions over the past 6 months, Velthar said. You have cured the silence, saving millions of lives. You have shared your technology freely. You have responded to aggression with mercy. You have proven your peaceful intentions through consistent action. Therefore, Velthar continued, I am pleased to announce that the Council votes 4,312 in favor, 947 against, to offer humanity full membership in the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted in cheers. Even many who had voted against the decision clapped politely. It was done. Humanity was officially part of the galactic community, but Hyunwoo raised his hand for silence. Council Prime, we are honored by this offer. Truly honored. However, we cannot accept it as stated. The cheering stopped. Confusion spread through the chamber. What do you mean? Velthar asked, his voice tight with concern. We have conditions, Hyunwoo said calmly. Brekta, who had been sitting quietly, stood up. I knew it. You want special privileges. Additional territory. Control over... We want reforms, Hyunwoo interrupted gently. Not for us. For everyone. Dr. Somin stepped forward carrying a datapad. Over the past 6 months, we've studied the Council's structure. We've seen how it works, and with respect, we've identified problems. Problems? Velthar asked. The Council has been operating under the same rules for 10,000 years, Somin explained. In that time, it's become rigid, slow to change, afraid of new ideas. You have 23 species with full voting rights, but 347 species with limited or no representation. That's not fair. Smaller species don't have the resources for full membership, said a council member. Then the system is broken, Hyunwoo said firmly but respectfully. If you can't participate because you're small or poor or new, then the council isn't truly democratic. It's an exclusive club. Velthar's mandibles clicked with irritation. What exactly are you proposing? 3 reforms, Hyunwoo said, displaying them on the main screen. First, every species gets a vote, not weighted by size or wealth. 1 species, 1 vote. The smallest colony world has the same say as the largest empire. Protests erupted from some of the older, more powerful council members. They liked the current system where they had more influence. Second, Hyunwoo continued, all technology developed by council members must be shared freely. No more hoarding knowledge. No more charging other species for basic necessities. If someone invents something that saves lives or improves conditions, everyone gets access. That's impossible, someone shouted. Technology is valuable. You can't just give it away. We can, Hyunwoo said. We have. We've shared every non-military technology we have. Our medical advances, our shield systems, our environmental restoration techniques. We've given it all freely. And you know what? We're better off for it. Because now other species are improving on our ideas, and they're sharing those improvements back to us. And the third reform? Velthar asked, his voice carefully neutral. The Council needs a purpose beyond maintaining peace, Hyunwoo said. Peace is good, but it's not enough. We propose the Council actively work to improve life for all species. Education, healthcare, environmental restoration, scientific research, making the galaxy better, not just keeping it stable. Thexel spoke up, his skin bright with excitement. I support these reforms. The Council has been stagnant for too long. Humanity is offering us a chance to grow. Growth requires change, said an elderly council member. Change is dangerous. Staying the same is more dangerous, Captain Nari said, speaking for the first time in the council chamber. We learned that lesson 500 years ago. When you put up that barrier, you thought you were protecting yourselves from dangerous humans, but you were really protecting yourselves from change, from something new, from growth. We could have become bitter about that. Instead, we used it as motivation to become better. Now we're offering you the same opportunity. What if we refuse? Brekta asked. What if we accept you as members but reject your reforms? Hyunwoo smiled sadly. Then we'll accept membership and work to change things from within. It will take longer, be more difficult, but we'll do it. Because these reforms aren't about us. They're about making the council live up to its own ideals. You claim to represent the galaxy. We're asking you to actually do that. Velthar looked around the chamber. He saw some council members angry at the suggestion that their system was flawed. But he also saw others nodding in agreement. Younger species, smaller worlds, those who had always felt left out of real decisions. These reforms would change everything, Velthar said. Yes, Hyunwoo agreed. That's the point. I need time to think, Velthar said. We'll reconvene tomorrow. But Thexel stood up. Council Prime, with respect, I call for a vote now. Let's see where we stand. That's not proper procedure, Brekta protested. Since when do we care about proper procedure? Thexel shot back. We're talking about rewriting all our rules anyway. Let's see if we have the courage to actually do it. Velthar considered. Then he nodded. Very well. The question before the council is this. Do we accept humanity's membership and implement their proposed reforms? Or do we reject everything and maintain the status quo? Everyone votes, even limited members. This affects everyone, so everyone decides. The voting took hours. Every species had to be heard. Every representative needed to speak their piece. Arguments flew back and forth. Finally, the results came in. The council votes, Velthar announced, 6,823 in favor, 3,091 against. The reforms passed. The chamber exploded with noise again. Some celebrated. Some stormed out in anger. But history had been made. Ambassador Park, Velthar said, you have your reforms. Now will you accept membership? With honor and gratitude, Hyunwoo said, bowing. Over the next months, the changes began. Every species received full voting rights. Technology-sharing networks were established. The council created new departments focused on improving galactic life, rather than just maintaining it. Some of the old, powerful species grumbled about losing influence, but even they had to admit that the galaxy was changing for the better. New ideas flowed freely. Problems that had persisted for centuries were being solved. Species that had been ignored suddenly had a voice. Dr. Yuna's medical techniques were taught across the galaxy. Engineer Jinwoo's designs helped dozens of worlds improve their infrastructure. Dr. Somin worked with alien historians to create a shared galactic history that honored all cultures. Captain Nari led the first joint human-alien exploration mission beyond known space. Her crew included members of 15 different species, all working together to discover what lay beyond the edge of the galaxy's maps. Admiral Sunwoo's defense fleet became a training ground for peaceful security. Other species sent their officers to learn human defensive tactics, how to protect without aggressing, how to show strength without threatening. 50 years later, the galaxy had transformed. The old council chamber had been replaced with a new one, designed to accommodate thousands of species equally. The quarantine barrier around Earth's solar system still existed, but now it was a memorial, a reminder of where humanity came from and what they had overcome. On the memorial, inscribed in 200 languages, were the words, "They called us dangerous." We chose to be kind, and elderly Velthar stood before the memorial. He was old now, near the end of his long life. Beside him stood Hyunwoo, also older but still sharp. I owe you an apology, Velthar said. For what? Hyunwoo asked. For the barrier. For judging your species 500 years ago. For being afraid of you. You were protecting your people, Hyunwoo said. I understand that, but we were wrong, Velthar insisted. We saw danger where there was potential. We saw threat where there was hope. Hyunwoo looked at the memorial, at the barrier beyond it that now served only as a reminder. You weren't entirely wrong. We were dangerous back then. Not in the way you thought, but dangerous to ourselves. You gave us time to grow, time to become better. Maybe the barrier was the best thing that ever happened to humanity. How can you say that? Velthar asked. Because it united us, Hyunwoo explained. It gave us a common purpose, a challenge to overcome. Without that barrier, we might have kept fighting each other, might have destroyed ourselves eventually. Instead, we proved ourselves to ourselves. And then we came to prove ourselves to you. And you did, Velthar said. You proved that the most dangerous thing in the galaxy isn't weapons or ships or military might. It's hope, compassion,